Welcome into NESN Bets Kickoff for Sunday night. Travis Thomas here in PNC studio, but don't get it twisted. Claudia Bellofatto is not in studio with me, but she is clearly still rocking out with me for our new theme song here. I think that may be taken though, Claudia. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I mean, I'd rather listen to you than Carrie Underwood any day, man. I swear.
Oh, wow. You've got to aim higher for yourself. I tell you that. All right, Dolphins, Eagles. This is a big one. Dare I say, Claudia, could this be a Super Bowl preview? Eagles.
It could.
It could be. Eagles favored
It
by
could
3.
be.
Total 52. I mean, look, I'm seeing it 3. I'm seeing it 2.5. By the way, I saw this total at 52.5, 53, down to 52. Things are happening in this game in terms of some of the lines. How would you bet it?
Yeah, 51.5's popping up even. So we've seen a decent amount of under money, mostly threes across the board. This is a tough game to cap. And I think if you look at the slate today, even if you didn't watch the games, if you just take a gander at the scores, really interesting. And it goes back to what I was saying with the earlier slate, parity in the league. So Eagles, one of the teams, there was 3 teams where the most bet handle. That means the sharp number, the sharp guys, the sharp money came in at BetMGM. It was the Lions who got blown out by the Ravens, the
Right.
Bills who got beat by the Patriots, and the Eagles. So I'm very interested to see if that trend continues. But of course, they are the field goal favorite in this spot. I have been saying since really week 1, I have yet to see the Eagles be as dominant as I thought that they were last season. Whereas, of course, Miami came out all guns blazing. The only real blip they had was against the Bills, but we just saw the Patriots beat the Bills. So either team could go into this and win it. For that reason, I'll probably just stay away. What you could do is put Miami at a 6-point teaser if you don't feel great about just taking the 3 points, get him up over a touchdown. But I think it's a good game for props because you can't really go wrong with any player on the field, Trev. There's so much talent.
Well, before we get to props, let me ask you this, because a lot of times in these situations, and I'll give you my side in a second here, but a lot of times in these situations where we know it's 2 really great teams, quite frankly, and as we both said, this could be a Super Bowl preview. That's not out of the realm of possibility to think. But a lot of times, and you know this about me, I won't even mess around with the points, especially when you're talking 3. You get into 3 points, it's like I don't want to push because it obviously could come down to a field goal. I start looking on the money line. I think you could make a real case tonight for either side. It's not too juicy for the Eagles, minus 140, minus 145, depending where you shop. Maybe shop around, find a minus 135. Miami plus 120, plus 125. Again, depending where you shop, look for the best number. I almost think you just go that, right? I mean, I would rather do that in a game of this magnitude where the margin for error is so thin. I just rather just pick the money line, who's going to win the game straight up. Is that something, I know you're not on a side in this game, but is that something you consider, or do you usually take the points or lay the points?
Sure. Honestly, in this situation, I'd probably wait to see. I would live bet this game for sure. And that's something
Oh,
I also considered in the Bills Patriots game because you can tell sometimes, often within the first half, even within the first quarter, if a team is going to keep up with this slower pace or if they come out of the gates, if they're going to be able to keep that up and withstand that. That's a situation I saw with the Bills and Patriots, where the Bills came out really flat. And that's exactly what we saw with them against the Giants the week prior.
right.
So once the Patriots were up, of course, they bring that line down on the Eagles. You're sort of chasing the number on the Patriots. But at that point, I'm like, I know you're getting a cheaper price on what was the big favorite to start, but I'm not totally bought in. So in a situation like this, where you have the Eagles as the field goal favorite, if they go into this game and say they score right out the gate, but Miami does look good, say it's a mistake or something as the reason they get down early, grab that price on Miami. You're going to be getting more than just 3 points. So again, you can live bet and say it's the other way around. Miami comes out the gate, they score first, but the Eagles look good. Well, guess what? That price is going to come way down on the Eagles. So keep in mind, you can just bet. Yes, you're right. Money line for Miami, you are getting a very good deal before the game. But keep in mind, in-game betting is always an option too.
That's a good point. All right, let's go game script here. How do you see this playing out? I'm going Eagles money line. Here's why. I think they're still going to go with a traditional approach of let's play ball control. Let's run the football. Jalen Hurts, we know, is dual threat, although he's much better in the pocket and he's getting better every year. But I still think you just want to control the clock, keep that high-powered Dolphins offense holding clipboards on the sideline. The Eagles defense means business. I just think they can kind of bully their way to a win, sort of like we saw the Bills do with the Dolphins, but not quite as high-powered offensively. But defensively, I think that'll be the script. And then I'm guessing that Jalen Hurts, and we'll get into player props later, I'm guessing that Jalen Hurts will make a play late in this game with his legs. That could be the difference. Eagles win a hard fought, maybe low scoring, maybe the unders in play tonight, under the 52. But I'm staying away from that. I'll just go Eagles money line. How do you see game script?
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you, and the market, of course, agrees with you as well. I don't know about low and slow. It's still a relatively, it's north of 50, but they did see under money. With how these offenses can go off, I'm always hesitant to take the under, but I do hear what you're saying. The Eagles have the edge on defense, and they would be smart to keep Tua on the sidelines as long as possible. So I agree with you. I think the Eagles have the advantage when it comes to the defense, and we're going to talk about the run game as well. Um, and Hurts needs to be very careful. He has to watch out with these interceptions because throwing picks, regardless of how good the pieces are around you, you're not going to win games that way. And so maybe they do lean on the run a little bit more here.
Well, that's where let's get into player props because I have a ton of better bet questions for you. But before we get into those, what props do you love tonight? Because I was actually thinking maybe both quarterbacks could throw a pick tonight. And you and I love this market. You could get a lot of great value on some of these bets with some of these quarterbacks. I think both of these guys, because of the defenses involved, could throw picks tonight. What's your favorite prop bet of the night before I start asking you, which or, this or that in terms of the prop market?
Yeah, the way that Hurts is playing, I wouldn't mind. And I don't have the juice on the interception now. If our producer Carolyn wants to let us know what it is, I don't mind that at all. The only issue is Miami's secondary isn't great, so
Right.
that's not a play I necessarily love. I think that Tua should have a decently clean game. It really depends on that pass rush. If they can get to him, I see more sacks in his future than interceptions, to be completely honest. So maybe it looked at some sacks for the Eagles defenders. But as far as a specific prop that I really do like is Tua over 35 and a half attempts, because like you said, with the Eagles leaning on the run game, the Dolphins can lean on the run game, but the passing game has been so successful, especially when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You should probably throw the ball as much as possible. So passing yards, we're seeing around 275 and a half, 271 and a half on the board. Again, make sure you're shopping around because that's as high as 279, Travis, which tells you the
Yep.
market does like him to throw the ball a lot in this game. So if you don't want to go over passing yards, you could look to attempts, 35 and a half is what a number I found, 23 and a half completions. I think all of those are safe when you look at what this Eagles team has allowed opposing quarterbacks to do, allowing the third most attempts and completions to quarterbacks. So I look to Tua over attempts, and I like completions as well.
I can dig that. By the way, those interception numbers, Jalen Hurts at even money to throw a pick, Tua minus 120. All right, let me ask you this, better bet.
Ah.
You talked about the passing yards. I think I know where you're going here. Tua Tagovailoa 271 and a half or Jalen Hurts 255 and a half.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big difference, and I think the numbers always tell you a story. We know that Hurts is more comfortable with his legs, and it just sort of came to me now thinking about what this pass rush could do to Tua. I'd maybe actually look at rush yards for him, but I'm going to stick with the script and what I think they will lean on the passing game. I'd go over on attempts or completions, but I think the passing yards number is safe too. I just don't know if the jump should be that big between the two of them, but I'd go Tua here.
All right, better bet. DeAndre Swift, 61 and a half rushing yards, or Raheem Mostert, 48 and a half rushing yards. Where are you going there?
This one's tough. Swift has made me some good money with those explosive plays, but I'll go Mostert here. He's coming off a 115-yard game, 65 the game before that. Consistency has been there. He's cashed in 4 weeks overall, which speaks a lot to how threatening this Miami offense is, because here we are talking about the passing game, yet one of the best running backs they do have on the ground with Mostert, so I'd probably lean him.
Yeah, I go Mostert too. He's got the hot hand or hot legs in this case right now. I would go him as well, but I think both of those running backs could have success tonight because I told you, I think this is going to be more of a grind game than we think. Jalen Waddle, 59.5 receiving yards, or Devontae Smith, 49.5 receiving yards. So this one's kind of tight.
Yeah, I don't like either of them, to be completely honest. The consistency hasn't been there. Both of them have cashed just twice. So I'll actually divert this and just go A.J. Brown. I think his
Oh,
catches number makes a lot of sense to me, over 5.5. Keep in mind, they're not the same market, catches and yards, of course. But
right.
catches for me, when the targets are there, like they are with A.J. Brown, leads the team in targets, but he's up there for the league as well. I feel a little more comfortable with catches if they're not able to get the ball downfield. So over 5.5, you're seeing this as high as -169, as low as 132. Of course, don't drink all that juice if you don't have to. Miami allowing the fourth most catches to the wide receiver position. He's cashed that in 5 of 6 weeks. I think it's a very, very safe number for him.
By the way, you know what I like? Because I'm with you. A.J. Brown, anytime touchdown, -110.
Yeah.
I'm on that one tonight. All right, Claude, here we go. Possible Super Bowl preview. You never know. That's a wrap for us here on NESN Bets Kickoff. Travis Thomas, Claudia Bellofatto. Join us this week on NESN, and we'll see you next weekend as well. Enjoy the game tonight. Peace.